on and bring in host of Justice with Judge Jeanine on the Fox News Channel, Judge Jeanine Pirro. Judge, good to see you.
Morning.
What's your takeaway here?
Well, the takeaway is that for those people who said, you know, it wasn't a big deal, it doesn't matter what her email said, the bottom line is that now we know there were discussions of drone strikes and possibly the outing of covert CIA operatives. And if you remember Valerie Plame, I mean, people were freaking out over that. She was not as I understand it, a covert operative as some of these CIA agents were. And this shows that there is damage, that there is potential for American security to suffer as a result of her low-level secured, so-called, or low-level email server.
Does it get wiped out, though, by President Obama's endorsement? I mean, yesterday the president comes out and says, look, she's the one with the experience. I've never seen anybody as experienced.
Isn't it ironic, though, on the day that we find out not only that she had all of these top-secret emails on her unprotected server, that the president comes out and says she's the only one who could do the job. The president comes out and he actually says, you know what, she is the best person for the job. Really? This is a woman who put our secured information at risk, and now we know that it was hacked by the Russians, it was hacked by the Chinese, it was hacked by Guccifer, the Romanian, and we're still wondering whether or not the woman should be indicted for what she did when we've got General Petraeus who's indicted and convicted.
Dr. Sebastian Gorka, who's come on the show a lot, Dagan, has said Obama endorsing Hillary today is the biggest conflict of interest in U.S. history. She's under federal felony investigation, and he's the chief executive.
The weird thing about this story, and I want to raise this with the judge, because Maria asked this question yesterday, why is Hillary Clinton so certain? She says, basically with 100% certainty, I'm not going to be indicted. But in this story in the Wall Street Journal, it talks about these communications coming from Islamabad. And they were sent, these communications between Islamabad and Washington and ultimately to Hillary Clinton's unsecured server, they were sent on a government system that is used for unclassified matters. They were sent because of the urgency of it on what's called the low side. And
right.
So the issue is this should have been done through secure communications channels. So if it was already, here's the question, if the information was already compromised, is it any more compromised if it winds up on her server? It seems to be one of the issues.
But you know what, that doesn't protect her. The fact that it wound up on her server doesn't mean, you know, we should give the woman a break. Here's the question, and you ask a great question, and that is, how does she know? How is she so sure that she's not going to be indicted? There's absolutely no possibility of that. Who did you talk to? Did you talk to Jim Comey, the head of the FBI? We know that you haven't you've spoken with them yet. Did you speak to Loretta Lynch? Did you speak to Barack Obama? Barack Obama has said, I'm not going to do any political interference with this investigation. And yet he's endorsing her. That says that he knows she's not going to be indicted. And so there's a conflict here. There needs to be a special prosecutor and independent counsel to look at this. The president is not only conflicted out, but what you've got is a woman running for president saying, I didn't do anything wrong. Well, yes, you did. Yes, you did. There is proof of it. We've got proof of it. How many top-secret classified emails do we have to know that were at risk, and CIA operatives possibly at risk as well? She's got no reason to believe that she is not at risk.
Two important points here. Well, one is, this is what people say. I mean, if you ask Ted Cruz, are you sure you're going to be nominated for the Republican, nomination for president, he would say, I'm absolutely sure I am. Not because he's a lying guy or anything, it's just what you say in these situations.
It's a political statement.
Well, imagine Hillary saying, well, I might be indicted. I mean, she's not going
to say that.
It was smug. It was arrogant. No way, not a chance. It's not going to happen. How are you so sure?
Yeah.
Does it mean the fix is in? It tells me the fix is in because a grand jury needs to look at that. And if Jim Comey makes the referral to the Department of Justice, he can't put it in the grand jury. Only the Attorney General can put it in the grand jury.
It's really fascinating to see this case take place and when it's going to be concluded in this election year. Judge, I want to get your insight on this controversial decision that came down from the Ninth Circuit Court yesterday. The court ruling there is no constitutional right to carry a concealed handgun. Will the ruling be appealed to the Supreme Court?
Without a doubt.
Yeah.
Without a doubt. First of all, you've got different circuits conflicting on this. Number one, I mean, the last thing the Supreme Court said was Heller. They said, hey, you can definitely have a gun in your house, but we're not so sure where you could take it out of your house. And so now we've got the Ninth Circuit, very liberal California circuit. I mean, and the Ninth Circuit, of course, is right under the United States Supreme Court. So the next level up is the Supreme Court. But when there are conflicting circuits, it's definitely
They're
going up.
basically saying you can't get a concealed carry permit if you go and say, I just want it for protection.
Right, you have
I want to protect my own well-being and that of my family. I'm not allowed to carry.
And when I was a judge, I used to sign pistol permits in New York. And the question was, if you want a concealed carry or a full carry, why do you need it? What is it that in your life? Do you have money? Do you have a jewelry store? Are you being threatened? You know, are you a victim? Are you in, you know, do you have some issue that requires that you have it? And they're saying, we need a reason. You can't have it just to have it. And then there are those Second Amendment people who say, what are you talking about? The Second Amendment doesn't limit it to just your house. You should be able to carry it. What, you're safe in your house but not on the street?
I think about Heller, the Heller decision, and think about Antonin Scalia and how critical he was in that decision, and it just makes us miss him that much more.
And that's why people have to get engaged in this election, because the next appointee to the Supreme Court will tip the scale on this very important issue.
That's absolutely right. Judge, great to see you.
Good to see
Thank you
you.
so much. Judge Janine with the latest there. Up next.